We started on this journey back in 2001, 2002. We engaged Warner Concepts, Chuck Warner, as well as the High School Facilities Commission and our planner, Glenn Rao. And we divided the district up into 4 quadrants. And we went out to the community and asked the community what they wanted. You know, we had forced busing by the courts, which was a dismal failure. So we felt we need to gauge the community with what they thought they saw the educational model should be. And what we found out is they wanted to get back to neighborhood schools, community schools, some place that they could have in their neighborhood and have pride as a part of their neighborhood. Rather than going clear across town from east to west, which can take you, half hour, are you going to go to a parent-teacher meeting after spending 8, 9 hours at work? Or would you rather walk down the street? So with that in mind, again, as I said, working with Chuck Warner, and he promised not to heckle me today. Yeah. Thanks, Chuck. We developed this model for our PK-8s and even for our high schools. Our high schools are developed into 4 communities that can either be by grade level or by instructional model, depending on how the school or the principal wanted to deliver the educational model. Just like Akron and STEM, that could be in each community. But we went here and developed 3 communities, the PK through 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8. And they're all modeled. Somehow this light, I guess, doesn't work. Around what we call an expanded learning area. And we kind of call it our living room. And it can be used in various different forms, and we'll show you that here today. Am I going the right way? Yeah. We formed a committee, the Expanded Learning Area Committee, which we had our architects were led mainly by, DSDA, and don't you love acronyms, Dayton School Design Associates, and there were 5 members in that. But basically, it was Moody Nolan and Eileen Goodman, along with Chuck Warner, Glenn Rao, and then Stacia Smith from our academic team on how do we use these expanded learning areas. Believe it or not, a lot of the staff didn't know. We had the double-loaded quarters, which was spoke of earlier today, which, looks like prisons. But we went through a process with our academic team on how these spaces can be used. And as you see here, tutoring, projects, small group, role-playing, large groups, rest and relaxation, and multi-grade age grouping. You can get 2nd and 3rd grade or 6th and 7th grade together for a speaker. They can become play areas, display areas, pod house meetings, teacher work areas, small group counseling. And do these work? Let me give you 2 examples. And these were unannounced, but Glenn Rao and I went over to Rosa Parks PK-8, 3 to 5 community, dismissal time. Now, you all know what dismissal time is in that age group. Yeah, it kind of calms down when you see some suits in the community. But over in the corner, there were 4 young men doing work at a table. So I went to the principal and I said, Mitzi, is that your after-school program? No. There's no teacher present? She said, no. Those young men were doing work on their own. And then I took the Dayton Daily News editor who covers us, Scott Elliott, through Thurgood Marshall High School. And we walked through all 4 of those learning areas during school. They were all being used, not playing. Students were actually working. We didn't bother them. They didn't bother us. So we found almost instantly that these spaces were going to work. What we're here today to show you is one primary example. As Christian said, you know, our enrollment projections, which, you know, got done in 2004 and done in 2007, and I'm sure all of you urbans understand the fight we go through with those projections. But we lost some of our schools. We still maintained our 6 high schools. Instead of having 950 students, we have 4 of them at 645. Our performing arts, Stivers, which is the top of the state at everything, they're at 298 7th and 8th graders and 698 high school students. And then we have a career tech, David H. Ponus Career Tech, that houses 800 students. But this is Kemp. Another shot of Kemp, and this was done by Lorenzen Williams, which is a part of that DSDA group that I mentioned before. And just as kind of the playful model that we started from the outside in, this is in a residential neighborhood, so we tried to keep the scale down so it fit into the neighborhood. And Chris, our cafe is our auditoria, and it has glass from wall to wall, floor to ceiling. So our students can be seen eating. But here is the Kemp floor plan. And as you can see, there's the 3 pods. The one here on the left is the PK through 2. The one in the middle is our 3, 4, 5. And then the one on the right is our 6, 7, and 8. And each one of them has a distinct theme. And then the lower level on the right is kind of our public area, that the gym and the auditoria and even the music rooms, you know, can be open to the public. We've set these pods up so that the community uses them in the evening, and they do. We have a lot of churches use our buildings on Sunday. But these buildings, as we said before, are part of the neighborhood, part of the community, and they can be used. There is no charge to use these buildings during the day as long as there's a custodian in the building. We'll open them up on the weekends to groups at a nominal cost to keep a custodian in the building. I'm going to show you some pictures right before furniture came and before being used. Lisa and her cohorts will show you how they use these ELAs, but this is the PK through 2. They wanted those risers to be sunken, and I said no, I think at that age group we'd have too many accidents, so we raised them up like that. Another shot of the ELA. Same community. This is a shot showing that you can have individual use of the ELA, much less, a class on the risers. Soft seating, it can be arranged in any different arrangements. This is a entrance egress where we use that as individual learning space or small group learning. We'll show you later how it really is being used or is being used. Some more small group tables. And then this is the 6, 7, and 8. And like I said, each ELA had a different theme, whether it be local, state, or national. Soft seating again to be used, or individual or group tables.